This is a service announcement brought to you by the National Right to Life Committee. Ever feel like your social views are trumped by the immorality of this generation, and feel like your policymakers make unethical decisions regarding social issues? We are the National Right to Life Committee, and we are here for you. With affiliates in all 50 states and almost 3,000 local chapters nationwide, the National Right to Life Committee is the largest pro-life lobby on Capitol Hill. Our mission is to defend the most fundamental right of humankind, the right to life of every innocent person, from beginning of life to natural death. We began in 1966 when Father James T. Mayhew was asked at the National Conference of Catholic Bishops to form an interest group in Chicago. Its function was to create a program of information on issues such as abortion to Congress members. In 1973, it was formally incorporated into the political sphere after the Roe v. Wade decision, and became a spearhead in opposition for years to come. Throughout the years, our issues have broadened past topics like abortion, and now encompass issues such as infanticide, euthanasia, physician-assisted suicide, and stem cell research. We fight to bring education, legislation, and political actions on the issues of life and liberty. Our current president, Carol Tobias, works closely to uphold the tradition of education and action that our founders exercised. Our issue is clear. Life begins at conception and ends with the natural death of each and every person. Not only is this a fact of science, but a question of our ethics as a nation. Allowing unborn babies and our elderly to die at the hands of others not only violates our constitutional right to life, but makes for irresponsible legislation that disregards human life as inherently valuable. We work to create stricter standards for access to abortion, laws that ban euthanasia and physician-assisted suicide on the state and federal level, and work to guarantee life for all. In recent years, we have supported the groundbreaking Nebraska legislation called the Constitutionality of the Pain-Capable Unborn Child Protection Act, and other forms of legislation such as the Unborn Victims of Violence Act, prohibiting tax-funded abortions under Obamacare, the Freedom of Choice Act, the Women's Health and Protection Act, and the defunding of pro-abortion groups like Planned Parenthood. We have endorsed congressional candidates such as former House Speaker John Boehner, current House Speaker Paul Ryan, Congressman Andy Barr and Brett Guthrie of Kentucky, Bill Schuster of Pennsylvania, Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana, Joni Ernst of Iowa, Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, and Mitch McConnell of Kentucky. And we have spent over $1.8 million to get these fine men and women elected. We also hope to endorse the next pro-life candidate for the 2016 presidential election. So far, we have not endorsed a candidate for the California senatorial race, but we hope to endorse a pro-life Californian senator.
Being a liberal, I personally can't stand this group. I fundamentally disagree with the idea that life begins at conception, which would make abortion wrong, and I don't think that things like physician-assisted suicide are necessarily bad for society. Besides the ideological difference, I also think that single-issue social groups only serve to stigmatize those who don't agree with their decisions on how people live their lives. And I think that throwing money at a candidate for these issues not only creates a greater ideological divide within our country, but takes the focus away from other important issues like the economy and foreign policy. That's not to say I endorse pro-choice lobbies either, but my personal opinion is that women shouldn't be shamed for decisions they make about their own bodies, and that organizations like Planned Parenthood are good, because they provide a whole range of health resources, not just abortions like many lead you to think. Talking about social issues and politics are important, but I don't necessarily think it makes for better politics overall. What do you think, Gabe?
It's interest groups like the National Right to Life Committee that make me question having interest groups in the first place. I can respect a person's viewpoint on abortion, but when people attempt to push their religious principles onto the general public, that's when I have a problem. In Roe v. Wade, abortion was declared constitutional and legal. All the legislation that this interest group attempts to pass directly conflicts with this written law. The NRLC claims to help educate the public on the topic of abortions and fetal development, but everything they teach is misinformation, mostly in the form of intimidation and fear, used to stop as many abortions as possible. I see no redeeming qualities in an organization that attempts to hinder other people's rights, spread false information, and influence elections.